Hey, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Michael Akers. This is Ask Akers. You know, I get asked a lot, what do you do with old tomatoes? Maybe they sat in the window too long, in their fridge too long. Hey, if the buzzards aren't circling them, they can be the star of a very nutritious, quick, and delicious dinner. Today's recipe, garlic basil shrimp. Have it ready in a snap. Let's get to it. Today's recipe is going to feature a little pasta called Orzo. Not a whole lot of people use Orzo or know what it's all about. It's a tiny rice-sized pasta. If you've never had it before, you're really missing out. This also comes in a whole wheat version, which you might be able to find in a little more of a specialty store. Okay, we always start with the longest thing, which is boiling the pasta. We get the water boiling. This dish comes together really fast, so you're going to want to have all your ingredients all finished before you start cooking. All you need to do is have the tomatoes. A lot of people see shriveled up tomatoes and they think they're bad. The fact that they dried out a little bit actually makes them a little sweeter. Done. Three cloves of garlic. Around here we like garlic a lot, so put in 3 giant cloves. But you're certainly welcome to put in however much garlic you like. You want to stir to make sure that the pasta does not stick to itself. What to do with this? I am a jar nut. I keep jars from whatever they come from. Like this guy. You can just dump the Orzo right in there. That's going to keep forever. What was this jar before? Heck if I know. So for whatever reason, my store didn't have normal basil, fresh basil in the produce department. It had this plant, which normally I can't even grow in this apartment, but hey, it's living, and now it's dying. Well, I got my basil. You want to pick the big leaves off of the big stems. Little leaves can stay together. They taste just as good. Overall, we're looking for about a 1/4 cup of basil. Just kind of shove everybody in there in a pile. Everybody into the party. And you roll it up, and then you want to cut kind of on an angle, about 1/4 inch. And that's it for the basil. The great thing about this recipe is that you can use any vegetables that you have lying around. I happen to have some onion and some red bell pepper in my refrigerator because I'm not an animal. Hey, we're ready to cook. Next up, the shrimp. I have frozen shrimp, I have tiny shrimp. I have frozen tiny shrimp because, you know, COVID. Have a small bowl ready because we're going to sizzle up this shrimp first. We're going to take it off, cook everything else, and mix it at the end. Let's go. In the pan, we're just going to put a little bit of olive oil. Because this is previously frozen and already cooked shrimp, it's going to sweat a lot. A lot of water is going to come out. Not necessarily a problem. We're going to cook it down a little bit. That's going to give it a lot of flavor. That's really going to flavor the pasta too. So just take a few minutes. It's fun fact time. You probably noticed that when you go to buy shrimp in the store, there is a number on the bag. That tells you how many shrimp are in a pound. The bigger the number, the tinier the shrimp. The littler the number, the bigger the shrimp, and more expensive. And if you see 1, that's probably a lobster. We're taking the shrimp out. It doesn't have to cook too much more. Make sure you use a clean bowl when you're moving the shrimp. Okay, we're letting that reduce. In goes the garlic. Waste not. And whatever hit of chili flakes you think you can handle. We're going to let that sizzle for 1 minute, and then we're going to throw the stock in. So if you've been following me on Ask Akers, you know that I make my very own stock from all my vegetable trimmings. So you can also use the stuff from the can, if you're a monster. It goes into the pan, and we're going to bring that up to a boil and let that simmer for just a few minutes. It smells so good in here. At this point, we're going to stir in the rest of the vegetables. And also the tomatoes. So what can we talk about while it simmers? My love of jars, that's for a very special episode. Making stock, That's also probably another special episode. But the fact that you should be composting or recycling? So many special episodes. Now, Orzo doesn't take as long as normal pasta because it's tiny, so you just want to give it a taste test. Don't want to burn your mouth off. Yeah, that's done. Good to go. Let's drain. Okay, about this time, it's time to stir in our yummy Orzo. Get that coated in that delicious sauce. Come on. And dump in the shrimp. Any juice? I mean, look at that. Am I talking or am I talking? Looks good, don't it? Pretty easy, right? Whipped it up in a few minutes. Delicious, nutritious. I'm fast. See you next time on Ask Akers.